So I recently did a video about my Motormover, but sadly my Motormover has now gone wrong, so I'm now doing a video about how I fix my Motormover. It's all a bit shaky cam because of the confined spaces I was working in and had some microphone issues, but I do hope you enjoy the adventure of getting a Motormover working again. So here's the problem. When you put this on switch on, and then nothing happens unless I really push this in, which is no good to man nor beast. It went wrong suddenly and I still had shows, so I had to go off to the Chalk Valley History Festival without a Motormover. And it's caused me all kinds of issues. I couldn't take the pod off the car because of the slope, and last year the Motormover had fixed that issue. And getting the pod in the driveway without a Motormover is so much harder, a lot of pulling around. And I know the pod's light, but it still takes a lot of pushing and pulling, and I really wanted to get it fixed as soon as possible. Might be the key, so I've got a spare key, but I think it's more like to be this actual isolation that I've got to really push this in to make it work. So I think it's the actual, that contact in there has gone soft. Fortunately, it's really easy to get to the other side of the isolation switch. You just got to go underneath the cushion. So here's my spares, just arrived. And this is the spare key. Looks identical to the other one, but it has got a bigger lug, if you look on that one. And I'm wondering if that will now work, because that is much smaller. I'm a bit concerned, but we'll see what happens. Will it even fit? No, it's not. Won't fit in. I am going to have to change the whole assembly. See, that does look the same. So I've taken the cushions off. That means that now stays up, and I've got good access to the other side of that, and I've removed one of the boots so you can see that the terminal is just screwed on. First, I'm going to need to unscrew that securing. Pull the other boot off. Now the boots are off. They look identical to me. This is the isolating thing. There seems to be no difference, which is go and return. Now all I have to do is remove the screws that are keeping the isolation switch in place and just pull it out of the hole in the wood. And just remove the nuts to take off the lugs. I'm doing it one-handed because I'm holding the camera with the other hand. Now just move the lugs over to the new switch and put the nuts back on. I had to untighten and tighten the nuts with a spanner. Do the same with the other lug, still one-handed, still holding the camera with the other hand. Now everything's been moved over and tightened up, it's time to test it before screwing it back into the wall. In case there's any problems, you have to unscrew it again. The action of this new isolation switch is much firmer than the old one. I much prefer it. Yay, it's working! Now do the hardest part, which is putting these blinking boots back on. They're a real struggle. All that's left to do is put it back in the hole and screw everything back into position. And test again once it's all in position. And it's still working. So that's how you change an isolation switch on a GoPod. It's pretty easy, anyone can do it with a screwdriver. And that's the end of my little video. So please do like and subscribe, and maybe see you on the next one for some more GoPod action. In the meantime, here's a little taster of what I got up to at Chalk Valley when I wasn't storytelling.
So I'm on the top one, load. Number one gun, stand by, fire! Fantastic, there you go.
That's terrific.